Great.
Okay.
All right, so what we have here is the finals of the third bracket division of the no terminals mix. So there were preliminary stages, and then there is a separate brackets for people who place first. You have an elimination bracket, and there's a bracket amongst people who placed second in their respective divisions, and then third. So A-Libby and Sportingelijah placed third in their respective divisions and have beat out every other third-placing player to make it to finals of the third bracket. So that's what we're watching now. And with me, we have TeamOkay and SSounder.
Hello.
Everybody. Alongside, of course, our no terminals mix grand champion Jay Nails. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that is true. The top bracket has already concluded, and I did end up winning that.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, they're already a few turns into this one. So what do we think of this kingdom?
They had a grand market turn. Oh yeah, quarry. That makes sense. Some nice quarry shenanigans with demand here.
Yeah, quarry looks good here. Obviously, a lot of expensive action cards that you'd be very happy to buy for cheap. Plus, if the 5 cost 4 instead of 5 or 3 in this case, then you can demand them, which is nice.
Yeah, it's especially important in the case of grand market when you can have coppers in play and by demand gaining the grand markets.
Yeah,
good point. It seems like grand market kind of snowballs here too with quarry, right? To get a few grand markets and a quarry in play, you can really accelerate things.
Yeah, I like grand market here. I think grand market often gets a bit overrated by people, but the fact that both you can get it without getting rid of your coppers because of demand, and also quarry makes plus buy super valuable, makes grand market seem like quite a good card.
They're really picking them up fast now. 4 grand markets left in the pile, turn 7. I would normally consider picking up a second quarry when there's grand market around, but with demand and the pile just being deflated so quickly, I don't know if that's necessary.
Yeah, another thing that I guess helps it is you've got Goat, which will naturally take care of deck control for you. You know, it's going to trash the coppers and estates, and you can get down to stack grand market. So you don't even need to worry too much about getting your deck under control. You can just go straight for the.
Does look like Libby's already got pretty good deck control here, drawn deck. Wonder if, with Coven being the obelisk, if that will be a factor here. Other than that, it doesn't look like a tremendous card, but maybe that'll be a factor as well.
Yeah, I think Coven looks good to me. I mean, not certainly not as a card, but as a way of scoring. I would not mind buying some Covens because you could like pick up a second quarry, for example. I'm not even sure if you need to or if money's that tight. But like with 2 quarries, for example, you could buy Covens for 1 each, and then they're 2 victory points. That would not be a bad way to score.
Yeah, that 3 with the curse.
I think it might be too slow here, though. I mean, Pixie's out, Grand Market's about to be as well, and then maybe if duchies get low, then you turn to Coven for scoring. But I don't really see that happening. I guess with quarry, they're 2 VP for 3, Coven as opposed to Duchy being 3 for 5.
I was just about to say, Coven is more cost efficient as far as points for your money goes.
That's true. Could be a pretty cool pile out win like that, potentially.
Sporting did pick one up here, but it looks like Libby's got the win in hand.
Oh, well, nice. That was quick.
It was a rapid game. 8 turns.
It just accelerates so quickly with the quarry demand grand market stuff and piling the pixies and
Goat as well, I think. Games with Pixie often very fast, partly because of Goat.
Right. All right, so game 2, Libby up 1-0.
Indeed. What do we have here? We got Crypt Capital. That's a nice combo. So for anyone who doesn't know how that works, Crypt, you set aside your treasures at the end of the turn. Capital, it gives you 6 money and then gives you 6 debt. But what might not be obvious is the point at which you get the debt from Capital is not when you play it. It's when you discard it from play. So if you manage to set aside Capital with Crypt, at the end of your turn, you never actually discard the capital from play. So you get the 6 coins and don't have to pay the debt.
Other notable capital combos include Mandarin Herbalist, but of course, Crypt is J-Nails' favorite.
I have never in my life used the alleged Herbalist capital combo.
Seems kind of slow, but yeah.
Yeah, theoretically, with Herbalist, you can also top deck the capital instead of discarding it, and then you never take the debt. The problem, of course, is then you have to have Herbalist in your deck. But yeah, Mandarin capital, now that's a strong combo. Similar principle. You top deck the cards with Mandarin to avoid paying debt. The other big synergy I see here is Apothecary and Wishing Well. Looks like the only good way to draw cards here. Wishing Well is often unreliable, but Apothecary, separately from picking up coppers, also lets you see all the cards on top of your deck, which guarantees that like your next 2 Wishing Wells are going to hit, even if you found 0 coppers.
Right, that seems to be the engine here, doesn't it? Apothecary, Wishing Well. Ooh, an early fairy on Groundskeeper. I didn't see that coming.
That is... I don't think I like that. That seems too fast for me.
Yeah. I don't think you want to be picking up Groundskeepers yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, Groundskeeper is, of course, a good way to score, but you don't have a deck yet.
It's amazing payload, but really, it does nothing for your build. And it's not like they're being contested and you need to pick up a few really fast.
Yeah, I mean, I like Church is fine. I think I like Potion Church a little bit more just because I like the idea of going in the direction of Apothecaries. But yeah, the Groundskeepers, I think, are a bit speedy for me.
Elijah
seems to be more +5 first. I'm sorry, continue.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say, Elijah seems to be more focused on trashing down with Church versus drawing. They do not have a potion as of yet.
Yeah, I like that they picked up +buy. Capital significant here, separate from the Crypt thing, also just because it's the only good way to get multiple cards per turn. And so, as a Libby, I would think that you needed capital like yesterday, so that you can game more than 1 card here.
Right.
And there it is.
Yep.
Right on cue.
Having 2 Groundskeepers in the deck already before even having your first +buy card is kind of weird.
Yeah, I think from Sportingelijah's perspective, I think it might be is it Crypt time yet? Maybe. I don't think you're
2 crypts?
I guess it is.
I don't
2 crypts seems a bit fast.
I don't want to. You always, I think, want to avoid having more than 1 crypt in your deck at any given point, just because it kind of defeats the point.
You want to stagger them out so you don't get all your treasures at once.
Yeah, you want to have like nice crypts alternating coming out of play separately each turn. I also think
a second Crypto Potion would have been useful.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sportingelijah's plan is for draw. Crypt is like kind of sort of draw, but I wouldn't want that to be my only draw here, if you can avoid it.
I think the Apothecary Wishing Well engine was powerful to pass up here.
Yeah, Wishing Well at 10 is really weird to me. I would actually even be thinking, you might just not need the money, but I would be thinking about like ferrying Wishing Well, for example, because I want a bunch of those.
Right.
Yeah, the buy costing 5 sort of leans away from that, at least for me. But yeah, potentially.
Even the Apothecary just for the draw, since you're not trashing any coppers, is pretty powerful on this board.
Yeah, so A Libby has like no payload, right? Where's their money gonna come from?
Well, they have all their Groundskeepers as payload.
Groundskeeper is not like payload in terms of letting you get more cards, which
yeah, that's true. Libby is looking at right now what is essentially 1 coin if he doesn't pick up some more money here.
It's like next turn you're going to be in a bunch of debt.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they plan to resolve that.
Evidently with more crypts. I think as a Libby, I probably want to pick up some golds now.
Why?
I mean, wait, is
Capital
there?
is
I
gonna be
guess
a better.
Capital. Oh yeah, Capital's better with
Yeah,
Crypt.
I just want to keep going
Yeah.
with capitals and crypts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably wise. Like you have pretty good deck control here, is it, Libby?
Yeah. So was that looking at Shanahan's comment about setting aside 3 coppers max? I didn't notice that. It looked like a Libby had set aside 6 coppers. So yeah, I tend to agree with him, especially when you see all the overdraw here.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like 3 apothecaries in their deck, so it's not like the coppers are even particularly burdensome. Vineyard.
Seems a bit early.
Your deck is not fully together yet. I think that's jumping the gun.
Yeah.
Yes, with all the groundskeepers, it does score quite a bit. Yeah.
So it's only 4 groundskeepers. I like picking up a couple more if I want to go for vineyards.
Why is
like
Wishing
now.
Well still at 10?
Yeah, especially with them both having multiple buys now.
Yeah. I'm a bit
just going hard on the Crypt Capital.
Like, I don't think Crypt Capital is really like a monolithic thing to do where you like just click those 2 cards and then your deck's done. I think you got to have other stuff there as well. It's just nice payload.
Right.
Like I would think some apothecaries, wishing wells, and then crypts and capitals, and then eventually you go around to getting groundskeepers, if time permits.
I guess I'm rushing the vineyards. Maybe it'll work against Sportingelijah, who doesn't really have. There's not like really drawing deck. It doesn't have much going on. But it doesn't seem like great at this point.
A-Libby's position a little bit better right now, just because Sportingelijah has no draw to speak of. But
yeah, they just have the 2 border guards.
Mm-hmm. And I guess Church is not draw, but it's shifting hand size and can cause some of your bad stuff in the shuffles.
I mean,
but it's not really.
Church in its own right is draw negative because it takes up a spot and doesn't draw you any cards. And like it increases your starting hand in the next turn by up to 3, but only if you decrease your previous hand.
Well, yeah.
Now, one way you could think about Church is like, supposing you had, let's say, 3 provinces in your deck, right? Those 3 provinces are naturally 3 stop cards, which takes 3 to draw. If you Church them every turn, like play 1 Church, set them aside, then use your next Church the next turn to set on the side, now you're saving draw because what would have been 3 provinces you have to draw every turn, you're just kind of keeping out of play indefinitely on your Church mat. Well, that's not a mat, whatever you call it. Keeping it underneath your Church. And so you're only going to spend the 1 draw on a Church each turn to cover 3 provinces. And so it can help in that regard. But like it's never going to get your like average draw per turn above the standard 5. In fact, in this case 4, because Church itself will take up 1.
Right.
Just I don't know. Provinces
Elijah
seem
going
like the way to go here.
Straight to province.
I don't like the provinces. I mean, I guess Sportingelijah can't really go for vineyards because they don't have a whole lot of actions. They've also got no groundskeepers.
Yeah, I think they're just too far behind here to catch up on provinces.
Yeah, gardens are nothing for them, really for anyone. Provinces seem like they're only out. Because A-Libby doesn't really have much economy to do anything else other than vineyards.
So as A-Libby here, I would definitely be buying another Church. Because, like I was just describing with 3 provinces, they can do the same thing here with vineyards. Nope, they don't want another Church. It's going to be a problem the turn after this one.
Yeah.
Right, because they won't have a Church to put in play and set aside the green cards.
Yeah, so like they're going to have 3 vineyards in their hand. If they had a Church in their deck, they could set this aside again. Without that, they're going to have 3 extra stop cards the following turn, which will be a bit of a pain. Oh, I remember that game that Shanahan was describing. That was a really good game.
More provinces there for Elijah.
It seems like they actually might pull this off with Alibi not being able to set aside the vineyards. Could cause a dud next turn, giving Sportingelijah the momentum to win.
Yeah, it's
Be a nice comeback.
It's not over yet. Alibi's big problem is they're kind of they're very, very underbuilt. They've only got 2 buys, and so they're not scoring a huge amount per turn. I guess the other problem is Alibi's deck doesn't have a good way to threaten to end the game. You know, they can keep buying vineyards and stuff, but even if vineyards get to 0, the game doesn't end. There's only 1 pile. And so Sportingelijah's deck, I think, has a little bit more control over bringing the game to a close.
And to be fair, Capital's at 1, Groundskeeper's now at 2.
Yeah, and all these groundskeeper points are just going to be too much. They did add another groundskeeper. I expected.
Yeah.
Like Shanahan commented, I was thinking Vineyard Province here, but I guess there's really no need to add that to their deck.
I haven't counted Alibi's actions. Did that groundskeeper perhaps bump up their vineyards by a point? Because I mean, it could be the case that buying the groundskeeper itself constituted scoring if they were like 1 less than an even multiple of 3 on actions.
Yeah, that's a good call. Turn here for Elijah. Do you have enough to pile and win? Pile provinces for the win?
Oh yeah, that's good. That wins.
Yep.
Wow.
Not sure what they're probably just doing the math to make sure. Yeah, that's a win. Wow.
Yep.
No,
That's
I didn't even saw that coming. Yeah, Libby should have...
getting the resign.
Kanye.
All the provinces have been bought already, but Sportingelijah still had a crypt in their hand. So the turn hadn't technically ended because they had a night phase. And Libby got in the sneaky resign.
I didn't even see that.
I mean, one of the things I loved about No Terminal Mix is like it brought up so many new combos that I hadn't seen before among those Crypt Capital.
Yep.
Like...
I thought they both underplayed that in slightly different ways. Sportingelijah just never really had any draw cards. They just went monolithic Crypt Capital, and also never had groundskeepers, which I think made provinces their only means of scoring, which is suboptimal. But I guess more substantially, looking at the result, was Alibi just underbuilding. They also never really added the best draw card, Wishing Well, and then just went too early for groundskeepers and then too early for greening. Didn't add enough plus buy or anything to score a lot in the end game.
Yeah, they could have used another capital or 2.
All right, what do we got here?
Yeah.
Capital's only buy again.
Seaway.
Oh no, Seaway.
And
Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctuary is also plus buy.
Yeah, just me being blind here.
So what do we like on the open here? I mean, you've got to open Bounty Hunter, right?
Yeah, I would think Bounty Hunter is pretty automatic. Probably just Bounty Hunter.
Maybe supplies.
Could be Bounty Hunter Border Guard as well.
I think I like the supplies over the Border Guard as the open. And I think we want to eventually, even though I think we eventually want to see Seaway Border Guard.
You could Seaway Border Guard. You could also Seaway Merchant. Either of those seems good. Seer looks good. Hunting Party looks good. A Relic is probably worth adding. Supplies is a good payload. I don't think Capital is likely to see play here. Maybe you add 1 on like your penultimate turn if the contextual factors suggest it, but it's not gonna be like important like it was last game. Sanctuary, I'm not sure about. You've got Border Guard. You have Bounty Hunter for thinning, but you might add a Sanctuary as well to get rid of those coppers. Because after the first few Bounty Hunter plays, Bounty Hunter starts to look weaker.
Right.
I think you probably want to potion. I think you want to potion second or third shuffle.
I was contemplating skipping Scrying Pool. I mean, certainly it's not a bad card here, but there's also a lot of other good cards as well. So I'm not sure.
That's true. Like you have to consider. Like I guess neither of them touched supplies and open. They both took silver, which also gets hit by Scrying Pool supplies. You probably are going to eventually have some in your deck. Those are helped by Seer and hurt by Scrying Pool.
I don't hate the
Yeah,
silver.
I'm a little. Don't hate what?
I was just saying I don't hate the silver. I mean, it's definitely in the abstract worse than the supplies and the border guard for your deck. But you're gonna have to get one silver eventually, I guess, because you probably want to get some merchants at some point, and those obviously require silver. So I mean, just picking it up in the opening is not ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
A little surprised to see Relic as the first 5 off the board. I would think you'd want to really hit those Seers hard, especially at the beginning.
I was thinking my first 5 might actually be Sanctuary. Seer is also a good choice, but yeah, not Relic. I mean, Relic's not bad for sure. Relic is not a bad card. But yeah, Seer and Sanctuary both look really good to me. Part of what I think makes Sanctuary appealing to me is the plus buy aspect. Like there's really good cards that are really cheap here, namely supplies and border guard, and so I'd really want to have, for example, +1 buy on any turns where I hit 4 to be able to buy 2 cost cards, or +1 buy when I have 7. So I think I want plus buy early. It could also be Seawaying even. I don't dislike the Seaway on merchant play.
Yeah, especially the silver open.
Yeah, supplies just seems like a really good card to me to be so untouched.
Yeah. And Sportingelijah looks like they really want to Seaway something probably this turn.
Sad Seer.
Are we seeing, I think, Seawaying Merchant for Sportingelijah as well? Could be Border Guard, so you can have more access to a pile, although LB looks in a good position to just hammer them this turn or next.
I don't like buying 2 merchants. I like Seaway Merchant and then Border Guard or supplies.
For supplies, yeah.
Yeah, the annoying thing with Seaway, at least for Sportingilaja's perspective, is as soon as they run out, you can't Seaway them.
Yeah.
Or as soon as the merchants run out in this case. That seems like could be a potential problem. Yeah, I think I like it. I think I like what Illuvius did there, just taking all the merchants.
No, it's not devastating or anything, because Sportingelijah could just buy Seaway and put it on Border Guard, or even just buy more Sanctuaries, I guess. But it is something.
Still hurts.
Glance. Yeah. I don't like the second silver.
Seer picks it up, so it's not the worst thing, but I'd rather have supplies.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just they're concerned about drawing deck and want these merchants just to be worthless cantrips.
I mean, maybe they're worried about the merchant missing, but also having fewer stop cards in your deck is a good way to make it reliable. So now Sportingelijah is in the problem they've crafted for themselves of having no plus buy because they didn't put it in last turn. Now, one would think that if you saw your hand of, oh, look, I've got 10 money and no buys, that you would immediately buy a plus buy card, be that Border Guard or Sanctuary. But they decided, nope, I'm just going to continue adding draw. I question that decision.
They did draw a deck here, and they will have 2 buys this turn.
And
I think here you probably want to Seaway the Border Guard. Money. Yeah, you really want to Seaway something here, or at least pick up another Sanctuary, but I'm leaning towards Seawaying Border Guard.
Seaway Border Guard and another Seer?
Even another Sanctuary I wouldn't hit. Oh, I don't like that.
This just looks lost. Their deck's not going to do anything.
Yeah, the can easily be a double province in 1 or 2 turns, probably. Or single province now. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
I don't like it. I'm not in a rush to province. Your deck's fine. I mean, Sporting Elijah's province was a mistake. I feel like this is the sort of thing you often see at low level games. I don't know why it's happening here. Of like the opponent buys province way too early, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I gotta buy province now. And
Right.
both these players are good enough; they should know better than that.
I mean, Italy does have just the Sanctuary and the Bounty Hunter, so it's not going to do too badly, especially if they exile with the Bounty Hunter. It's economy for them.
They've also got 2 estates left that they haven't exiled yet.
And those get hit by Seer, though. So they're not as negative for the deck as the provinces.
I would have built so much more than they seem to want
Yeah,
to.
you can do so much on this board.
Yeah, for sure. This looks like it definitely should 3-pile.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Sporting Elijah has not put themselves in a position to 3-pile. So, unfortunately, I think that's not actually going to happen here. But yeah, this is a Kina that I think, if played optimally, ends on a 3-pile like 7 or 8 times out of 10, at least.
It seemed like the greening early, given that he got Libby to follow, may end up benefiting Sporting Elijah. Libby seems to be in much better position to pressure on the piles.
Yeah, I agree. Libby should have built. I think Sporting Elijah's best chance involves this early greening. Because Libby's got a lot more buys to make use of. And again, there's like really cheap payload, really good payload, and that stack of supplies is almost untouched.
And this looks actually pretty good for Sporting Elijah.
Yeah, this all of a sudden is looking like it might even be in Sporting Elijah's favor when it really should not have been.
Yeah. I think I'm liking Sporting Elijah's odds right now. Because if you pick up one more province, like, really, we definitely can't triple here, probably can even double. I don't think they can triple Duchy here. That probably looks like their best odds.
There's just too much of a points deficit. I think you just got to score maximum points and hope your opponent duds somehow. Province, Duchy. I don't know how you're winning at that point. Maybe you buy province, Duchy, and 2 coppers so that you can threaten to buy double province the next turn if you draw. It all looks gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't look promising.
2 border guards I don't love. Seems like if you're greening, I think I maybe want a silver to hit double province if need be next turn.
You could also
over the
You
border
need
lines.
to pick up your consistency if you got more green in your deck, but yeah, there aren't a lot of good options there. Yeah, Shanahan had noted they've been playing so fast, I haven't really paid attention to the draws, but Libby had some unlucky draws with estates not being able to exile their estates until just a couple turns ago.
Are we underestimating Essie's deck? I don't think Sporting Elijah's deck is actually all that good. I think they underbuilt and greened too early. And Alibi has failed to punish them for it.
Yeah, this game looks pretty won at this point.
Like,
I certainly didn't see the double province capability from his deck, so...
Yeah.
I think it was only possible with the bounty hunter in the first province, but nice work nonetheless.
There was a turn that ought to have been pivotal, where Sporting Elijah just bought 2 merchants outright when they could have Seawade merchant, and then bought supplies, which is an equivalent amount of payload, and an equivalent number of stop cards with a lot of extra plus buy. If they'd done that, they could have built a lot more. And if A-Libby had just kept building from that point, I think they would have been in a commanding position.
Yep. Capital there looks okay.
It's hard to say exactly, because I think A-Libby's kind of in a lost position. There's no way Sporting Elijah is going to dud badly enough to miss province.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Province in hand.
Yeah. Can you double here?
Even single province seems
Maybe
like
if
enough,
they
but they might be able to.
Honey Hunter,
It'd be
Honey Hunter
nice
the
to
horse.
double.
Let's count. So
1,
they
2,
got
3, 4,
2,
6,
4,
7, 8, 9,
9.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, this doubles. Sweet.
Oh, impressive.
No.
All right, so 2-0 for Sportingelijah.
2-1, I think.
2-1.
Yeah, we had the Grand Market thing at the beginning.
Oh yeah, that game lasted all of like 2 seconds. I forgot that even happened. You're right.
Yeah. That's the first player 1 win of the match.
Alrighty, going into game 4. Another crypt game. So we got plus buy with Market Square, and we've got Highway. We also got plus buy with Ducat. So Highway looks good. Not sure what the fastest path to get there
Ferry
is.
on Highway and on turn 1 or 2.
Well, you still want to trash, which could be. I mean, you could do like raise Ferry Highway maybe, or you could just do Ferry Junk Dealer. I'm not sure if it's better or not. I'll think about this.
I don't think Monastery Treasure Trove is a thing. Is it?
Not here.
Really not on this board.
You don't need any
I
money.
don't think I want Treasure Trove here.
I very do not want Treasure Trove. You don't need money because of Highway, and if you did need money, Market Square just gives you free money.
That's true. Anyways, Raise looks more than good enough for trashing here, and also there's Junk Dealer, which also looks okay.
Yeah.
Jump on the plus buy with a Ducat on turn 1 then, trash a copper.
So you could do. I think I definitely want to raise in the opening. That's all I'm really sure about.
Okay, a raise for the estates, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get thin. Seems really important.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. The optimal thing here, at least in my eyes, would be opening 2-5, and then Raise, pursuing Raise, and ferrying Highway.
Raise, pursue, raise. Oh, with 2-5, I see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, even on 2-5, maybe Raise Junk Dealer, but no need to look into that.
They've asked about Ferry and Junk Dealer. Do you want more than one Junk Dealer here? I mean, with Raise on board, I would think one Junk Dealer is enough, right?
Yeah, I think one's enough here.
Yeah, like I don't hate the Junk Dealer idea, but I think you might be
it's
able
not
to
even because you don't top deck it
with raises.
Okay. Elijah's going the Ferry Junk Dealer route.
One opening I was just considering was, what about raise, pursue raise, buy a second raise, just open double raise and get thin really fast.
Interesting.
Because you'll be hitting 3 a lot from that, but that's fine. You can buy like a Market Square or 2, and then maybe Ferry Highway, and go from there. So what did A-Libby open? Silver Market Square. That makes no sense to me. Yeah, I share DZ sentiment. I don't understand that. I get Sportingelijah's opening. I feel like it's a little bit slow. I think Junk Dealer to trash estate is basically just like an expensive raise, but like it's not bad. It's at least an opening I understand. I'm not sure what they were going for with the Silver Market Square opening.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. I mean, Market Square is going to be an important card here. You're going to want a bunch of them, but I would think early, you really don't need them in your deck.
I would think priority number 1 is trashing. If you got trashing in your deck,
Yeah, I mean,
Market Squares could be a number 2, but yeah, it's a little bit early. The Silver also
once you thin down, then you want to get the Market Squares in your deck, so you get all the buys and start loading up on highways.
With only Draws Advisor, I think probably all the greening wants to be done in one turn.
Silver also says to me, I want to hit 5 real badly. And I don't see why that's important. I don't think I ever care about hitting 5 this entire game. Maybe they're going for Crypt.
No, they want duchies now. They want to deny them.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think this is a Crypt Kingdom. I don't care about the treasures all that much. I just want to trash them with rays.
Scandal erupts.
It is rare, but there are some kingdoms where we don't buy Crypt. Rays is a strong enough trasher that this one might be one of those exceptions.
Yeah, but I agree with you here. Highway Market Square's fast, raise fast, junk dealers support.
Yeah, are we a couple turns away from wanting a potion? I guess getting a jump on the vineyards could be an advantage by taking it a little early.
Do we want advisors here?
Let's take this in turn. I wasn't thinking we were going to score with vineyards. I was thinking just highways and then provinces. Maybe if the highway split ends up being annoying, you could take vineyards. You're definitely gonna have plenty of action, so it's not ridiculous to take vineyards.
I don't even know about provinces. I think just once highways and market squares are low, we're gonna wind up with a turn where we can take like 6 duchies, and that's gonna do well.
I think priority number 1 for me is getting highways, because if I can get enough highways, I can just take provinces. If highways split like 5-5, then I might have to look at the position and see whether I want vineyards, or just like take a few golds with market square and buy provinces outright for 3 each. Then what was the second comment? You were talking about advisors. Yeah, advisor does not seem bad. I mean, it's a draw. You don't need a whole lot of terminals in this deck, so like you could play with like fewer than 5 stop cards. But
yeah. I mean, if you're going for vineyards, you're not going to take them all in one turn. If you do, that's too many potions. So that's like another thing. Like, if I'm playing with vineyards as my money, I don't like the treasure trove. I wanted market square there.
Yeah, I think you take the highways and a market square.
Yeah.
Do we know what the highway split was? Whoa, treasure trove. That is a trove of tragedy.
5-5. Mm-hmm. They're obviously they're planning to take Crypt soon.
Maybe. You want all the buys now. Now that the highways are gone, you just want to load.
I don't get the ducat, whatever you say. I think I want market squares more than that.
Nothing is better than trove. If that's our question, Shanahan.
Yeah.
I'd take no cards over trove.
I also don't like discarding the market square for the gold there at all.
Sort of confusing.
If you wanted the gold, trove's giving this to you.
Yeah, you don't need a bunch of money in your deck, do you?
Yeah, in this
there are the
scenario,
advisors.
I think I could have seen going for vineyards here, perhaps. Like pick up some more market squares, pick up some vineyards, and then you can add a bunch of advisors. How many points do those vineyards end up being? If you got like 5 highways, like 5 market squares, and then some. It'd still be a little
probably 4 points, 5 points here.
Not so bad. Yeah. I'm not sure. Like, for example, if you have a gold in your deck, rather than a potion, 1 gold with 5 highways in play can buy 1 province. And so if you have fewer than 18 action cards, I guess provinces are still just more efficient. I don't get the treasure trove at all, though.
Yeah. Game looks probably 2 turns from ending. I think as Alibi, I want to take market squares here.
2 turns? What piles are we ending on?
Market square and advisor, market square and junk dealer, and then 1 green card. I mean, now it doesn't, but depending on Alibi's buys.
Do they have enough plus buys for that?
It looks like maybe market square advisor next turn. I don't think so, but I haven't counted that.
Yeah, Libby might be close to being able to pile market squares and advisors on their next turn. Not sure how many have 7 buys or not at this point.
Yeah, for sure as Sportingelijah, I think you want to score here.
Oh, yeah. And first junk dealer away the treasure trove.
Oh, they did manage to draw up all that treasure, so they can get quite a bit of quite a few provinces here.
If they played that in a different order, they could have gained a free. What I would have wanted to do is just like trash the treasure trove, and you could gain like a gold off your market square and also draw it. And then you got the gold without the copper, and you also got the treasure trove out of your deck, in the trash where it belongs.
Boy, lowered quite a bit there.
Or
I guess they scored enough where it's probably safe.
yeah, I mean, they could have taken the another province, but I don't think that's safe because I don't believe. I mean, discard market squares for gold is wise there, but I don't know if that. I don't even know if they even with that have 12 coins in their deck, especially drawable.
Her grandma said to call her back.
Yeah, sad money situation here for a Libby.
Yep. What do you buy? It's a little bit awkward.
We have 4 buys. Oh, because they discarded market squares. They got market squares in their discard pile.
Oh my God! They discarded it for golds. Why? Oh,
Because that was the only way they can pile provinces there. Sportingelijah looks in a good position here.
I didn't even notice that
Yeah,
happened.
this is
Wow, trashing an advisor to discard 2 market squares. That seems like a huge.
I noticed the trash advisor. That seems suspect.
Every part of that seems suspect. That was weird.
Sportingelijah, if they can take 3 provinces, can they take 1 province for advisors in the market square?
they can. They're just short, depending on if they play this junk dealer. It's a little too risky to play the junk.
I would play it. And now you got to win. Oh no, not quite.
You trashed the gold here.
Quite there.
Yeah, they're 1 coin short.
I think you
can trash a gold. And still double
try
province.
to draw on.
I don't know if you want to double province, but you could.
Are both of the other highways in the discard?
How's
trashing market squares will win? They 1 coin short. They can pile advisors.
And they're also so they're 1 buy short of doing advisors market squares in a province, and they're 1 coin short of just doing 3 provinces.
Yeah.
I think
if they trash a gold and play market square, they could pile duchies, and if the market square draws another market square, pile market squares. This is their last market square, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I think trash gold and draw 1, and then you hope to have. If you find 1 more buy, you win. I
don't think they have another buy, but yeah.
If you find a highway, I think that also wins. No, the highway wins if it draws like literally anything of value.
Yeah.
Let's go for the gold trash. Let's see what he draws here.
I'm gonna hop off for a second. I'll be right back soon.
So take all the duchies? Yeah, no, that's probably not safe, is it?
If you take 4 duchies, then it would take... Your opponent would just have to take all 3 provinces to beat that. I think I like buying out the duchies.
Yeah, because now a Libby can just double province for the win. Seems very doable. If you empty the duchies, it just scores you more points.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of lowering provinces there.
Well, I guess it scores you the same amount of points, but it opens up a pursue. Okay, I thought they would score more.
That pursue, I mean, it looked like it helped. It discarded a copper and a province.
Did. I'm just wondering if they're going to get another turn here.
Yeah, I don't know if it was optimal or not.
Oh, so they did have another market square down there.
Well, that's not an inspiring advisor reveal.
Oh,
They found 3 highways. That's a good start. So A Libby could win with 2 provinces, or theoretically 3 duchies, a market square, and a state.
there's the win in hand.
Yep.
Yeah, if Sportingelijah would have taken that other duchy, that would have been a. Would that been a draw? Or no, they had an estate too, so
Yeah.
it still would not have been enough.
Yeah, I believe A Libby would not have been able to empty provinces if there were 3 left.
But yeah, if they did just empty duchies,
Yeah.
correct. They couldn't have ended it there. Well, they could have ended it there, but I don't think they could have scored enough.
So now it is 2-all going into game 5. Ooh, a lot going on here. The only card costing less than 5 is Guardian. No 3s and 4s.
Wow. What a board.
Also, Cobbler looks so bad. Actually, yeah, Cobbler does look so bad. I was even contemplating like Highway plus Cobbler, but there's like no way to get the Highway in play before the Cobbler, because Cobbler happens at the start of your turn. So like you can't use it to gain 5s.
Right.
Wow. So having 5
I guess that's a nice.
is just amazing.
Yeah, that's a nice 5-2. Certainly, that's what you want. Maybe it goes Guardian. I guess so. They hit 5, right?
Yeah, Guardian on turn 1 makes a lot of sense for 3-4. I was just double checking that they did in fact have the 3-4.
Yeah, especially on this board where you want all the 5s.
Yeah, DZ is right that like 4-3 specifically in that order would be terrible. You just have to like open double silver to get to Vampire. With 2-5 or 5-2, you can just buy it outright. With 3-4, you can buy a Guardian, which is, I mean, you don't really want a Guardian all that badly, but it gets you to 5 on turn 2. How many vampires do you want here? Good question.
And you want 2 right off the bat, don't you?
Yeah, I feel like 2 is a natural number, and then maybe you think about getting a third one situationally. I think I'd probably live with 2. I think the best thing the vampire is going to do for you is trashing with those bats, and then eventually I want market square plus highway to be the way I get all my cards.
So have they both picked up apprentices here then? I think so.
Looks like it.
Apprentice doesn't jump out to me as the first on the Vampire 5 I'd want, but I guess it makes some sense when you got the estates early to help with the draw.
Yeah, I mean, it does help you trash. I was thinking we just rely on vampires and get maybe like Laboratory or Storyteller to draw to those vampires more reliably, and then use the bats for trashing.
Yeah, I think I like that better.
Like, I guess an important consideration to me is you're not adding any additional stop cards to your deck, like, at all. Like, every other card I plan on buying until Province is either draw or cantrip. And so your deck's never going to get any thicker. And so I don't think you need to get thin super fast. I'd rather just draw to the vampires.
At what point do you start adding the markets and highways?
Good question. I think that might have been one turn too early. Like, if you're finding your vampires reliably, it's serving the same function, because vampire is letting you gain a 5. And so I do want to make sure I'm drawing my deck each turn. And so probably about the time I'm starting to draw my deck would be a good time to start adding the payload instead of the draw.
Yeah.
And that should happen fast enough. Like, I feel like a Laboratory and a Storyteller would probably do it. Maybe 2 labs.
Okay.
Yeah, Pilgrimage seems not bad here. Especially if you have 4. And you can't buy a 5 anyway. Pilgrimage looks really good, because you don't really want more silvers.
Yeah, they've got a laboratory highway in deck. Cave says I think you would add the market at the same time, so you've got three good targets for the pilgrimage.
Yeah, having 3 targets does seem important. There's no way, to my knowledge, to ever have vampires stay in play, because like the moment you play it, it immediately exchanges itself for a bat, and so, what was I gonna say? You can't pilgrimage it. But what if bats are out? I'm trying to imagine, like, what if there were 0 bats in the pile and I played a vampire? Does it then stay in play? I think that might work. So maybe it's theoretically possible to pilgrimage a vampire, but like for all practical purposes, vampire can't be a target.
Right.
How do bats empty? Oh, maybe it's not even possible to have all the bats empty and still have vampire. Let me think about that.
That's true. I guess if you're exchanging them back and forth.
Wait, no, that seems fine, right? If I like buy a vampire and exchange it for a bat, and then I just buy another vampire, I just keep the bats in my deck. That's totally fine. What do you mean how? Shanahan's making me question my example. I think it works. Wait,
if you exchange all, I guess if you exchange all,
So DZ, correct me if I'm wrong. It is possible to empty all 10 bats, and then play a vampire, keep it in play, and pilgrimage it. No?
Except you play the vampire in the night phase, so you can't pilgrimage after that.
That's a good point. I hadn't even considered that part of it yet. It does happen too late anyway, separate from that whole aspect. Shoot. Okay. Yeah.
We got game point for Elijah now. Match point, I should say.
I missed the whole last 5 turns of that game. Who even won? Okay,
we were playing very fast. I think he just got too many highways, and Libby didn't see any way back.
Yeah, these two are very speedy players.
They are. We're only an hour into this, and we're on game 6 already.
Alrighty,
we're less than an hour into this.
Yeah. A lot of good cards here. We got Lookout for Thinning, Upgrade for Thinning, Bat as well, Crypt as well, Draw is Destrier. Coven looks pretty bad to me.
Oh.
So I think we're bargaining for Vampire in the opening.
There you go. Get the early Vampire or 2. Probably just skip Lookout and just use Vampire for trashing. Vampire Bat.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You could pick up a Lookout, I suppose, but
the question to me is whether you want Upgrade. I think the answer to Lookout is definitely no. Upgrade looks like it might have use just because upgrading an estate into a stockpile sounds a lot nicer than upgrading an estate into a silver.
Sure.
So Upgrade's a definite maybe for me. Lookout just seems meh. With stockpile supplies and border guard around, those are all good cards to buy for sub 5 buys.
Right.
I think Crypt looks not bad to me here. You just trash an estate or 2 with your bat, and then you buy Crypt on one of the $5 turns. I'd probably be looking to get Crypt here at some soon point. Now might be a little bit too early.
Crypt's going to be good long term, though. I mean, you're going to trash down most of those coppers, and obviously you can't Crypt stockpiles.
Yeah, you can't Crypt stockpile, but you can Crypt supplies, and commerce can make getting golds pretty easy. So those could be a target as well.
Okay.
It's nice that Vampire can gain Destrier. Destrier, nominally costs 6, but presumably on any given turn you'll have bought at least one thing before playing Vampire.
Right. So as long as you just buy something, you're always going to have that option.
Okay, so Sportingelijah has gone for an upgrade. 2 upgrades are gone. Did they both get an upgrade? Or does he have 2 of them? They both have an upgrade. Okay.
Have one upgrade.
I can certainly see the rationale for upgrade. I'm still not sure if it's good or not, but it's not unreasonable.
Again, here I would think you'd be picking up a supplies or 2 early in the game. There's a comment to that effect as well. Yeah, it lowers the cost of destriers also.
Yeah, I like supplies. Supplies is a good card. We also see them. The last time supplies came up, they both just like hated it and didn't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you upgrade the estate here rather than the curse because you can get something useful from it, like a stockpile.
Yeah, stockpile seems better than nothing. Now, incidentally, like if you remove stockpile, I'd probably upgrade curse rather than estate because I don't know, silver looks less inspiring to me. I'd rather just win a card. But with stockpile around, yeah, surely.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You get a couple supplies with a few stockpiles in hands, and you can go to town on that destrier pile.
Yeah,
goes our first supplies.
I guess potentially a little bit relevant as well is supplies will also power up your commerce by 1 because you gained a horse.
Oh yes.
But yeah, supplies for destrier cost reduction seems pretty nice to me.
Ooh. Strategic move there by a Libby, keeping 2 stockpiles in exile for Sportingelijah.
Yeah, that's pretty significant just because plus buy is not super simple to come by. Once stockpiles run, you're just gaining with vampires and upgrades.
Yeah, that seems like a big deal.
All right, so what does a Libby get here? They don't want to trash both coppers, which is weird to me. 3 supplies and destrier. How does that math work out? So if you bought 3 supplies, destrier would cost 3. Yeah, you could afford that. But you couldn't afford 2 supplies and 2 destriers? Yeah, that seems like a reasonable set of buys. I can definitely get behind 3 supplies, destrier, and trash 2 coppers.
Okay, I'm back. Where are we?
We're in game 6. Sportingelijah leads 3-2.
Good to know. And it's looking good for them right now. At least from just me seeing when their turns.
The Coven does not inspire me at all.
No, we're probably never going to be dumping those curses into the deck anyway, right?
Yeah, it just seems like a fancy plunder. And
is that even too bad, this kingdom? After the stockpiles go, it's not saying black is vampire, but it's not single gain, but it's single buy.
Yeah, I want to make sure the destrier is empty, and I want to like commerce once, and then start buying provinces, and then like once I've done that, you could consider adding a coven with additional vampires. But like when coven is, for example, coming at the cost of a destrier, I'm more skeptical.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, Libby's got a strategic advantage with the is it 3 stockpiles still in play? I know normally you don't like to hold on to those, but given that it's really the only, I mean, there are, like you said, other games, but that's the only plus buy. So do you potentially hold on to those until the late game? On to one of them maybe to threaten double province, where Sportingelijah will never be able to threaten double province?
A good question.
Yeah.
I feel like the answer is like it's rare to want to do that, but I could definitely see that being a thing to do in this kingdom. The double province is a real thing.
That looks potentially worth doing.
Yeah, I don't want to hang on to all of them just because like having 3 stop cards in my deck in lieu of having a lot of money is a big drag. But I would definitely think about holding on to one of those.
Down to one, and at least you can threaten double province.
Yeah. Just looking like you might need to do here.
Is it an awkward commerce board? Supplies powers up your commerce, and then you got crypt to stow away those golds. and coppers that apparently still exist.
I guess we're not saving
Nope,
stockpile.
we're spending all the stockpiles and we're greening.
Yep, I'm just going for it. Sad we didn't get to see Crypt here. I feel like this is a kingdom where I would have gotten one. But at this point, it might just be too late.
Maybe game. No, you can't really. Sportingelijah has exactly 8 coins in the deck. So.
The lack of 4-cost cards
spare
is really annoying.
Are they gonna bat a province here? Or bat a horse, I mean? No, they bat the upgrade. I guess that makes sense.
I don't hate that. You really can't spare many coins.
The upgrade's utility is definitely declining here. Now, a lot of times, upgrade has late game utility and an ability to get you duchies in the last moment. There's no 4-cost cards here, which definitely makes upgrade a lot weaker. But like, you could potentially get upgrade into duchy via Destrier. The problem is that requires you to play like a bunch of upgrades. Like upgrade.
It seems like a lot of work.
2 other things into something to get Destriers to cost 4. Then you could upgrade Destriers into duchy, and that requires a lot of upgrades that probably aren't worth the effort. So I think just killing the upgrade makes sense.
And then next turn you can kill that copper.
Yeah, it does feel like Elijah's going to be able to pretty consistently province every turn. I mean, they may miss once or twice, but I'm not sure Olivia's going to be able to compete with that.
Well, we're not even going to get to the end of the province pile. They've both gone heavy for for covenants in the last few turns, and now curses are going to pile out.
Yeah, good point.
So now we just desperately take points before that happens. I still don't want to look out in hindsight. I mean, I think bat plus a crypt, maybe upgrade in there, is enough for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Seems mostly over.
Yeah, the
Oh, they got the third coven. I didn't see that.
Are gonna.
Is this win in hand?
Did they pick that up from the vampire last time?
No, it's tie in hand.
Yeah, so they could tie here, which they should.
I mean, you might as well, yeah, because that wins the match.
Yeah, it's first 3.5. Sportingelijah is at 3. So they should just buy curse and gain curse off of vampire. That actually could theoretically be a win anyway.
Cause a hex.
If we know what the last hex is. I think plague has been seen already, so they can't give out the hex directly. Or miserable. Miserable's been seen.
It's already see. Has Locust been yet?
Locust has been seen.
Oh, famine. Oh, why can't we buy curse?
Okay.
I mean, you still can. And
I mean, if you don't want to buy the curse, you can bargain for the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Sportingelijah, you could know for sure you're taking the tie, but the tie is worth it because it wins the match.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it was war. Oh, we'd already gone all the way back through the hexes.
Had we? I mean, Miserable was only seen once. I don't think we had.
Or maybe just Shanahan was misleading us when he said it was.
No, it's for war.
War.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That does it.
Because
congratulations for Sportingelijah.
Yeah. Regarding the True Q's question, it's because Sportingelijah was leading the match 3-2, and the match was first at 3.5.
No, this is the finals of the third bracket of the No Terminals mix. And
so congrats to Sportingelijah on winning it.
Yeah, congrats to Sportingelijah, who is the best of the third best, and A-Libby second best of the third best.
Mm-hmm.
Good games. Very fast games. These are both fast players. I'll say
Very
that.
fast.
They got
Yeah.
through 6 games in like an hour.
Yeah.
All right.
That's impressive.
Thanks for commentating.